What is going on, everybody? Jclarkthejumper here, and in today's episode I'm going to be going over my tattoos and the meanings behind them. Alright, if you guys are new to the channel, my name is Jonathan Clark. I am a high school teacher and a professional dunker. Check the channel out for dunking, training, all around cool stuff. So click that subscribe button and check out my other videos. Today we're going to be talking about my tattoos, my tattoo journey, and the meanings behind my tattoos. I'm really excited that it's gotten cold and it's hoodie season, so I'm going to try to keep my hoodie on as long as possible, but I'll show all my tattoos real quick. I have a sleeve on my left arm, and then I have the tattoo across the chest. The plan is, the plan is to add some more later, but right now I'm content with everything that I have. I will say one thing: once you start getting tattoos, it is addicting. It's exciting. You want to kind of keep adding and kind of tweaking and things like that. But I got my first tattoo when I was 18 years old. I remember it was Thanksgiving break. My sister had a friend who did tattoos, and basically he was short on cash at the time, and she called me out and was like, hey, do you want to go get a tattoo? And it was funny because I kind of like figured my mom was going to say no, and I was like, hey, we're going to go get tattoos. And my mom was like, you're 18, you're grown, you can do what you want to do. And I was kind of like stuck, but excited at the same time. So I went ahead and got my first tattoo, which was the left shoulder. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, with a cross. Now, the initial story behind that and why I chose that was 2 years prior, my junior year, I was training for getting a scholarship. The goal was to get a scholarship in track and field, and I was a high jumper. And I went to Venice Beach with my friends, and we were skateboarding. I thought I was a skater at the time. And basically I hurt myself. I couldn't explain the pain, but I went for a trick and it felt like my hip fell out of its socket. And it's funny, I remember like walking back from Venice Beach and telling my friends like my hip is hurting, and they were like, oh man, you're just playing around. But it really hurt. And once the pain kind of settled in and I got home, I immediately got depressed in a way, because at the time I was thinking, well, there goes my scholarship. And my mom wouldn't let me get down on myself, and she said, everything happens for a reason. This is going to make you stronger. And she would recite the entire Lord's Prayer, and in the prayer there is the saying, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, basically alluding to everything happens for a purpose, and it's part of his purpose and not yours. So when I recovered and I went through a lot for rehab and ultimately had a lot of success, I ended up getting a scholarship to UCLA. When I got that tattoo that freshman year, that was kind of a signal to my mom. Everything happens for a reason. So when I would stand on the runway, when I would stand on the apron, I would tap my shoulder and she would tap her shoulder. It was kind of a tribute to everything happens for a reason. Just trust in the Lord and have faith that everything will work out. So it was kind of a nice little thing that I did with my mom my freshman year, and that ended up kind of evolving later because I ended up getting more done. I think I can't remember when I got the next tattoo. The next one was definitely the Roman numerals IV. If you guys don't know, Roman numeral IV is 4. I'm Jonathan Lewis Clark the 4th. 4 is my favorite number. So I knew I had to get that tattoo. I remember seeing, I think it was like a Got Milk ad, and if I find the picture, I'm definitely going to put it right there. And it was David Beckham, and he had the Roman numerals kind of done nicely, and I was like, man, when I get a tattoo, I'm getting that. And I had the opportunity to do it, and I didn't look back on that one. So the Roman numeral 4 was the next tattoo in the sequence. And then I kind of followed it up with the powerful beyond measure across the chest. Now this was a bold one because I remember that was kind of when I started to get more radical with the tattoos. So at the time when I was first getting tattoos, I didn't want to go past the arm sleeve, and I didn't want it, I didn't want my tattoos to show if I wore a regular t-shirt. I didn't want to, look a certain way, I guess, with my tattoos. And at that point when I decided to go across the chest, it kind of, I guess, broke the mold of what I thought would be kind of my tattoo journey. And it wasn't, people wouldn't look at me as a clean cut guy in a sense. With tattoos comes that stigma, but it was important for me to kind of get that message. Powerful beyond measure. If you guys have not seen Coach Carter, I think that's where everybody gets their message. I actually got it from the actual poem, Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Going deeper into this poem, the big idea behind it is we're not afraid to be average. We're not afraid to be normal. We're afraid to be great. And it's not just this fear of being great. It's this fear of what comes with being great. Being willing to put yourself out there and say, I'm going for this. I'm willing to be embarrassed and go and fail possibly, but not be afraid to say I'm willing to go out and be great. And the double meaning behind the powerful beyond measure as well. I was a triple jumper at the time, so beyond measure definitely had to have that big impact as a jumper. You always want to jump, as far as possible, beat the measuring tape, if you will. So I wanted to be powerful beyond measure. With all my tattoos, it's always exciting to get the tattoo and kind of look at it later, but this was the one that I think I spent the most time in the mirror looking at afterwards, because I was super stoked about it. Side note, the Y in the beyond hurt so much. That really hurt. And it's funny till this day, if I wear a tank top or a shirt with my chest semi-revealed because the word beyond is cut off, it kind of looks like Beyonce. So I know my wife gives me a hard time when she says I have Beyonce tattooed across my chest. Not true. Nothing against getting a Beyonce tattoo, but just not my vibe. So yeah, I got the Thy Kingdom Come, Thy Will Be Done, the Roman numerals 4, and the Powerful Beyond Measure. That was my tattoos probably from I think the last one I got when I was 21. And I did not get any other tattoos until very, very late in the game. I think I had always wanted to go back and get more tattoos, but financially, time, whatever the case may be, it was something always came up, and I just would always put the tattoo on the back burner until about 2 summers ago. I kind of wanted to just go in and start working on the sleeve concept. So like I said, once I got the chest piece, I was kind of, I was going to go full sleeve. I decided that was something I wanted to do with where I was at work, where I was at in my life. I think it was something that I was comfortable doing. I didn't care so much about this idea of the stigma behind, oh, this isn't going to look unprofessional or whatever the case may be. I'm comfortable with how I look. I'm comfortable with my tattoos. They all have a positive meaning. Not that your tattoos have to have a positive meaning, but I'm comfortable walking around in my own skin, and it was something that I embraced. So I kind of went back and kind of came up with this idea for a sleeve. And I would like to say, I forgot to say, my first 3 tattoos were definitely done. I was funny, I always tell my students that they're more or less hood tattoos, where I went into someone's house, they set up a shop in their house, and that's how I got my first 3 tattoos. The next time I revisited a tattoo, I definitely wanted to go into a shop. I definitely wanted to get it professionally done. And I found a shop here in Fresno, Liquid Fetish, and met Creole, who's done, he's retouched up my entire arm and added to the sleeve, and he's definitely somebody I would recommend. I'm actually going to I'll drop his Instagram in the link below. Shout out to him because, he's done an amazing job. When we first linked up, the plan was to kind of go sleeve, and as we started, he kind of wanted to touch up the upper arm, and then we kind of worked our way down. So he ended up going back over the original tattoos that I had, and he put those in, and then the next piece that I ended up getting was my inner bicep. I got the DC logo, Everyone always asks me about, like, am I a big Batman or Aquaman, whatever, Justice League fan, and no, actually the DC represents my wife's initials, Dana Clark. I just thought the logo looked really cool, and got that on the inner bicep because when I put my arm to my side, it's really close to my heart. So my wife is obviously close to my heart. I have another space right above it that's empty right now, and I saved that space for my son's footprint, and that's gonna be the next tattoo that I get. So I had the DC there, and then on my elbow I got the drum major from the logo from My Chemical Romance, Welcome to the Black Parade. Trailing behind it, 2 music notes, C sharp and B flat. So the entire meaning behind this piece is a tribute to my Uncle Dewan Hurt, who passed away. When I was a little kid, he used to always say to me, C sharp or else you'll B flat, or you won't be playing any music. And that's just one of the many quotes that he left me with in his amazing legacy. And I wanted to do something to commemorate his legacy because he means so much to me. So when he passed, I had a really hard time, and I was, in that dark place, and I was listening to My Chemical Romance. That whole Black Parade album, talks about death, and one of the songs is Welcome to the Black Parade, and the lyrics song go, even though you're dead and gone, your memory will carry on. And it's just kind of a way for me to commemorate his legacy and carry on all the things that he's instilled in me. So this tattoo, when I finally got this one done, similarly to the Powerful Beyond Measure, I found myself, but in the opposite way, not looking at it as much, because I would tear up when I would see it, because I think of my uncle. I was really happy I got it. It was kind of cool, but at the same time it was like, and I kind of almost regretted it for a second. But it's something that means a lot to me. He means a lot to me, and I wanted to put that on my body for forever, just to represent him. The next tattoo I got was the scene from I Am Legend, and instead of using the New York skyline, I chose to go with the LA skyline. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, particularly South Central, which is not the best environment for a young African American male to grow up in. It was a tough road, and at times I felt like I was alone. Very similar to Will Smith in that the movie I Am Legend. So I wanted to kind of commemorate my struggle and my trials and tribulations going through that city, and that whole piece kind of tied in together and kind of made it make sense. As well as I Am Legend is a reference to, how should I say this? If you know, you know. I'm gonna just leave it at that. And then the other side of the arm is a rose growing out of the concrete. This is a tribute to Tupac Shakur's poem, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete. And initially this tattoo was going to be a dandelion growing throughout the concrete, because when I was in high school or middle school, I was driving with my mom down the street, and she said, look at that dandelion, and look how it was able to grow through the concrete, and how it was able to overcome all of the adversities. And basically she was telling me the story about overcoming adversities and growing past your circumstances and still being able to push through. So initially the dandelion was something that I wanted to do, and I was going to try to find ways to signify dreams, but it just, it didn't look the way I wanted it to, and the rose kind of hit a little different. So I ended up going with the rose instead of the dandelion. And the concept is still true within Tupac's poem about overcoming adversity and still being able to strive. So when you look at the arm from the bottom up, it tells a story as well as, me growing through adversity, grinding, paying homage to my uncle, and then you have the Thy Kingdom Come, Thy Will Be Done, God's will, and it kind of creates this whole, I guess, scene of the ground all the way to the sky. So that was kind of cool that was able to work itself out. I still kind of want to add pieces to kind of touch it together to complete the full sleeve. I actually do have a little bit of filling, and it's the honeycomb design on my elbow. And that was kind of just a swaggy thing because I'm always doing honey dip dunks. I just figured when I pull my arm out of the rim, I had to leave some sort of honey print when I do that. So that was kind of like the least meaningful tattoo that I got done. But that was kind of swaggy when I was getting that one done, because I was just thinking the whole time, like, man, like you really gotta have some balance to pull something off like that. So yeah, those are my tattoos right now. I do have a couple ideas for other tattoos. The two that I have in works, one is going to definitely be something along the lines of Black Panther, and I'm looking particularly at one of the scenes when T'Challa was in combat with M'Baku for the mantles of Black Panther, and he was getting his butt whooped, and his mom yells, "Tell them who you are." That was something that when that part came on, my son and I used to watch the movie. My son and I still watch the movie, and my son smiles and gets a kick out of that. But when I first saw the movie, that part kind of hit hard, because he said, he's like, I'm T'Challa, son of King T'Chaka. And that part was kind of just dope. So it's like kind of one of those things of like, let them know who you are. I was thinking about definitely getting something like that, tell them who you are, and that Black Panther font. I thought that was kind of cool. And then another piece that I was thinking of was a particular scene in Into the Spider-Verse where Miles is jumping off the building and they have the camera flipped upside down. When you look at the initial script and how they wrote it out, it's one of the most symbolic things that I've ever seen, and it was just kind of dope. In the scene, with the way they wrote it out, it says he's not falling, he's rising. And it's just kind of one of those things where it's like you're looking at, trials and tribulations where it might look like someone's going through something that's bringing them down, but ultimately they're bringing them up. And if I do definitely get that piece, it would definitely go on my leg where my ACL scar is. I definitely plan to get something around my trials and tribulations with my ACL and overcoming that. Those are the ideas that I have in works, and I'll keep you guys updated with any other tattoo ideas, and that's my tattoo story. Hope you guys enjoyed the meaning. They all mean something to me, and I definitely wanted to be able to share that with you guys. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys click and subscribe and check out all my other content. That's all I got for you guys today. Take care, everyone.